Hey there, 7-Minute Sales Minute listeners. It's Fish coming at you. Here we go with part 2 of our virtual sales briefcase long form episode. Thank you very much. Enjoy. I'm Scott Fishman.
I'm John Dwoskin.
And this is the 7-Minute Salesman.
Welcome, everybody.
And the next one on our list is simple. This one's kind of dry and boring, but it's real. Sometimes you have to have something signed, right? Yeah. And how do you sign it? If you're going to email someone a document, most people don't have the ability to sign something like when you get that FedEx package and you sign that little green screen thing. So DocuSign, very simple. It can be used as a legal signature. It can be tracked. There's documentation behind it. It is worth its weight in gold, folks. It doesn't weigh a lot, but it's worth its whatever.
It's great.
In gold.
It's great. Well, it saves you time. It's a great tool. Next is, a lot of times I find myself, I have clients all over the country. So a lot of times I will record our phone calls, and it's called Rev Recorder. And what I love about it is I actually record my calls with my business coach, and I record a lot of calls that I have with clients. And you can then share that recording with whomever. And a lot of times, like what I do when I have calls with my business coach, I then send it right to rev.com and they transcribe it.
Oh, wow.
And so obviously there's a lot of laws throughout different states that you have to tell people you're recording. So you can't record obviously without sharing. But it's a great tool that is really easy to use. And it's an easy app. It's called Rev Recorder.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, the next one is we're going to circle back to this one quite a few times, I think, as we go through this list, but Google Docs. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Now, remember, obviously, this is something where you're putting something on Google. So always check with your company's privacy guidelines and whatnot, security guidelines. But this is a lifesaver for me.
Yeah.
And you and I, we use it a lot because you can collaborate on documents. You have a version of Word. You have a version of Excel. You have a version of PowerPoint. There's so many powerful things you can do with this, and it's just absolutely killer. And as long as you have a Gmail account, you have access to it.
Yeah, I actually wrote my first book and writing my second book using a shared Google Doc with my co-writer.
Yeah.
And it's great because I write, he'll update it, and then we look at it in real time, and we can both, this is the key, both update at the same time. That's where it's so brilliant.
Ooh, I think that would drive me a little bit nuts, like dueling updates, like backspacing over each other.
Right.
But it's true, you can do that.
Yeah. The next thing is, especially if you are working with teams, using Zoom or Slack. Fish and I use Zoom every week to do these podcasts. Once in a while, we get together and do it, but usually we do it over Zoom. And I personally use Zoom all the time for calls on a daily basis with clients of mine. So it really takes, and I would imagine you could do this too in your business, but it doesn't matter where my clients are because we can always be face-to-face.
Right. And I was using Zooms a ton in the office and just for presentations with business partners and clients. And recently I transitioned to a Microsoft Teams platform, which albeit it's a little bit more intricate. There's a couple more steps involved. But what I've found is that Teams is it's robust. There's a lot you can do with it. But the nice thing is when you say to a client, hey, I want to do a Zoom with you, they're like, what? What's Zoom? But if you say, I'm going to send you a Microsoft Teams link, they know who Microsoft is.
Yeah.
So it does just the name recognition helps a little bit. It's very robust. It's another one of those things that's got so many plugins in it that at the end of the day, if you're using it with all these plugins, you might drive yourself nuts because there is a lot to it. But just in its simplest form, I love it. It's great.
Yeah. No, I agree. Let's talk about Asana, Fish. It's a work management platform that a lot of teams use to really kind of stay focused and share information and, make sure everybody's kind of on track.
Yeah. It's funny. I had this installed when we first started doing the podcast. I installed it. I'm like, hey, we're going to use this.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because we're a 2-man team, right?
Right.
So it's almost like we kind of backed off a little bit and we kind of went more into the Google Docs format because we didn't need all of this stuff. It's one of those things
Right.
where, hey, this is great. It does a lot of things, but at the end of the day, almost like a pen and paper works, we just needed a pen and paper that we could work with in virtual reality.
Right. Right. There's so many things. There's so many tools we're talking about today. You can use bits and pieces to make it work for you.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
if you're a big team and you do have projects going on, Asana, Slack, Teams, there's a lot of things that work in that respect to actually do project management that are amazing. But at the end of the day, just doing something is kind of the key. Again, we're not getting paid by anyone. So Asana, sorry, you're not the best thing in the world. I don't know because I haven't used you. So since we're not being sponsored, we don't have to worry about pandering to anyone. The next thing I want to talk about, John, is a social booster.
Yeah.
This is really cool because there's things that you and I have done on social media that we've really wanted to get a little bit crazy with. And you've got a team
Yeah.
that does a lot of this stuff for you. But if you don't have a team and you want to go kind of more on the budget route, there are some pieces of software you can use that work very well. One of which is called Buffer, where you literally can, number one, you can just plan out your posts on pretty much every social platform.
Right.
It makes suggestions on what you want to do. Crowdfire does much the same thing. I've been a Crowdfire user for a long time. And also it gives you a lot of nice little things, like it tells you who's followed you, who's unfollowed you. It gives you stats like that.
Yeah.
There's Hootsuite, which is an old school one. It's been around forever. And one that I love is TweetDeck, which actually used to be an app, and now it's just, I believe you just use it right on your browser. And it's crazy. You can show a bunch of different Twitter handles. You can track different hashtags. You can track.
I don't use topics. That one. I should check that one out.
It's pretty crazy, and it can be addictive too because it's like almost like watching a stock ticker because you can have like all these different things going at the same time.
Wow. Oh, I'm going to check that out. Yeah, those are, I just want to make a quick comment. Those are really, really useful because a lot of times people say, I don't have time to post every day. I don't have time to this. You can post, days ahead of time. If it's key to get content, created. We've talked about this on many shows. To be an overnight, thought leader, it takes 3 years of a minimum of 3 times a week posting.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can set your post on Sunday for the week. The only thing I would say is make sure you're checking it because sometimes they're not perfect. They can maybe double post or, things of that nature. So you got to make sure that you're, you're still a little bit on top of it. Next is Calendly. A lot of times people use this a couple different ways. I use it for my podcast for people to sign on and pick a date for my podcast, Think Business. And then sometimes people use it and I don't use it for this. They'll say, oh, hey, set up an appointment with me, pick a time on my calendar. I personally find that kind of, sometimes annoying, sometimes effective, but you can use it in a lot of different ways. And it really, as long as you don't become that person that, is only like, you can only get an appointment with, you're the type of person that you can only get an appointment with you if you Calendly in,
right.
Then it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't love that, but be careful using it, but it's a great tool. I love it for my Think Business podcast.
So I've never used it. Can you set parameters on that? Like nothing after 4 p.m.
Yeah. Well, you set the exact dates, set the exact dates, the exact times. You can set up all of that. Yeah. You can customize it. But sometimes you have people that like I only have for mine certain days and times of the week that are convenient for me. But sometimes people book their whole calendar. It'll be like, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a great tool. This is just my 2 cents. Don't overuse it.
Right. And it's funny because one of the things I've always done in my voicemails for people and my emails is if I know I'm in the office till 5 o'clock, in my voicemail, my email, it says I'm in the office till 4 o'clock. Because what I find, and this is just human nature, people will call you at 4:59 and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, well, you did say you were there till 5, so I'm going to make time for you. But hey, you know what? You should respect my time as well. So if you could set those parameters, that's definitely helpful.
Well, it's also important to just kind of set a cushion for yourself too, so you can accomplish what you need to accomplish and set expectations effectively. So
totally
that's smart. Yeah.
Right.
Todoist. Let me talk about Todoist because
Yes, because I don't use that one.
Yeah, Todoist is an app. It was referred to me forever ago by my buddy Jim Nazinski, and it's an amazing app. And you basically it's a to-do list on steroids. You can create your own basic to-do list, just simple, or you can join teams and create joint to-do lists where you can share everything, and it's really unbelievable. I mean, I don't use it for that, but I know people who do, and it's unbelievable. And you can be specific and detailed and share and divide by, by however you want to divide different lists, by color, by that. It's great. It's great. And it's not expensive. And they have regular and premium memberships, and it's amazing.
I am a fan of to-do lists. I really am. It's one of those things where I find that checking that box that you did something is like so satisfying, and it helps you move on to your next thing. It helps you compartmentalize things. It helps you just get on with your day. So I actually use something. I'm going to go back to Google, and this is something I hope they never kill because I love this so much. It's called Google Keep. And it's literally like, you remember Trapper Keepers?
Yeah, of course.
It's like a Trapper Keeper
in the 80s. Yeah.
Yes. It's like has everything in there. Now I want a Trapper Keeper. I'm like going on an office supply binge today. But Google Keep, it's amazing. So you can do to-do lists. You can share pictures. It's almost like Evernote kind of. I guess it's a lot like Evernote, but it's on steroids, and it's shareable. The to-do list part is amazing because every weekend I do my grocery list on it. Every Friday I do my weekend list for what I need to do personal and business. Every week I do what I need to do for my week. Yeah. Every morning, literally, if I have ideas on what I'm doing for my sales huddle in the morning, I will put notes in there. And then I just bring my phone to the huddle and just go off my list. And literally I check the box as I go through it. Yeah. And it's amazing. Or if I find an article as I'm browsing the web that I want to read, I literally just add it to my Keep. And then later on, I pull it up when I feel like sitting down and reading something. That one is a godsend. And again, I know Google likes to kill things sometimes. So please, Google, if you can hear me, do not kill this one.
Keep the Keep.
Keep it.
I just want to highlight Evernote. People love Evernote. Great tool to get organized. And that's a great one. Canva. Do you use Canva?
I use it a ton.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I know a ton of people who do use it. I thought you use it. I'll let you speak on this because I don't use it. But everyone I know who does loves it.
Yeah. So Canva, I actually stumbled across this when I wrote my first book, and I tried to do everything myself, and I wanted to make a book cover, and I started using like Photoshop or the GIMP and all these crazy things. And I'm not a designer. I like to think I am, but I'm not. So I found this software. It's a website you go to. Literally, you could do it all online, and legit, you can do social media tiles. You can do book covers. You can make literally menus, invitations, anything you can think of, you can make on there. And it's plug and play. So it has all the elements that you need in there. Some of it you have to pay for. Most of it's free. You can add your own photos. You can add a ton of your own stuff in there. And what's neat is that it's got a grid, John. And what I mean by that is, as you're placing, like if you type out a word and you want to make sure it's dead center, it allows it like centers it for you. Like it puts it in the right spot. It clicks in place. Wow. We were actually doing a project, one of my coworkers and I, and he's like, I just have to stop and give you a compliment. He's like, your mouse skills are on point, because I was like moving things around and just dropping them right where they needed to be. Yeah. And he thought it was me. I'm like, no, it's just literally the software just does it all for you. So in a half hour, we wanted to make Gary Vee style a menu of things that we could offer to our clients. And literally within a half hour, we built this whole thing out, and it was beautiful, printable, downloadable, in a PDF format that we can send right to our print shop and have it done instantly.
That's awesome.
It really is amazing, guys. Check it out. It's Canva. It's like canvas with no s.com.
Yeah, I love that.
There you have it, 7-Minute Sales Minute listeners. That concludes part 2 of our virtual sales briefcase long form episode. Thanks for listening.
Thanks Thanks everybody for listening. Now, no excuses. It's time to put everything you listen to into action. Stop bullshitting yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop listening and doing nothing with this information. Take this information, implement it into your day, kick some ass, grow your business, grow your sales, make more money, have more fun, have a better life, period, the end.
What he said.